David, it's Friday.
Thank God.
It's February 11th. It's the week of our 1 year anniversary. I mentioned it last week on Wednesday. I kind of just added our old favorite first rant that I actually brought in Balfour in, Richard, who
Hmm.
helped us out
Shout
tremendously.
out, shout out,
Organized
Richard.
it,
You're a good guy,
Richard.
Rich.
Yeah, we haven't forgotten about those initial days. And now, 52 weeks in, on average, 3 episodes a week, that's 150 pieces of media that you and I created. And the idea of growing this concept in viewership and channels, now with Rumble. And again, Rumble has been a great partner, someone who hasn't, edit us out for just saying the truth and the facts and the science. It just wasn't their science that they wanted to believe. But that would be the YouTubes of the world and even the Facebooks and the Googles. And they all want to censor us just a little bit to keep their narrative. And, I hope one day more of us recognize that. And again, David, we're talking today, and it's a very simple. It's COVID, it's inflation, it's the up and coming elections. I mean, I'm going to come in on the inflation bit, but I really think that I'm going to let you start it off
Yeah.
because I'm just going to go on a tangent.
Well, you know what? The thing that scares people, and when you talk to people, and we love talking to people, they're scared. For the first time ever, there is a tremendous amount of uncertainty for so many people. Yes, COVID restrictions are being lifted, but is it a ploy because an election is coming up? Or is it really happening? We hear this morning that people are talking about COVID. They're afraid to go into public because they don't want to catch COVID because the government, the CDC, the media especially, is scared the crap out of people. And that's just, a lot. It's causing concern, angst. There's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of anger. And then there's inflation, which, if you talk to Justin Trudeau, he's blaming now the convoys and the truckers and their stuff, which, come on, seriously? The convoys and these protesters are now on a global scale, folks. France, Austria, Australia, New Zealand, they're coming out with these convoys. They're upset with the government on the restrictions. And it's not even to do with that. Look at what they said about inflation lately. It's at ridiculous highs. And the government, instead of doing anything about it, continues to bitch about, you got to go get vaccinated. You got to go get vaccinated because the only way we'll get out of this, I mean, to hear Justin Trudeau again, King Justin yesterday said it, that the solution to our problems is vaccination. Come on. Everybody is angry, is upset, frustrated, edgy, and Stuart, I think so are we about, and this is just a couple of the things that are causing us nightmares.
I'm just trying to grab a screen up here, David. And I just want to I can't find the right screen, but that's okay. I've had these problems before. Okay, share. This is what I stare at every day.
Very hard to see, my friend. Really hard.
Very, very hard to see. Well, we could see there is what's called a head, and there are two shoulders. This is, not what inflation is. That's called market. Markets go up, markets go down. That's separate. Inflation is about the rising daily costs. Now, the inflation numbers that are published, and we spoke about this at nausea just a couple of months ago, that inflation this month alone, which is the month of the last month, so not February, but January, was like 7.5%. But that doesn't take into account the 100% rise in gas, the 50% in chicken, the 40% in beef, the labor rate that's up 40%. What people don't understand, oh, I'm not going to tax you, Joe Q Public, whether you're in Canada or the US. Inflation is the largest tax you are actually paying for. And regardless of what the market does, inflation is going to hit you every single day. I've got employees that want to fill their gas tank. Used to cost $40. Now it costs $65. People that can't get chicken. I called up a kosher butcher. Kosher butcher can't get employees to cut chicken.
Forget about
That,
kosher, Stuart. Stuart, forget about kosher. Go onto the shelves in your local grocery store and tell me how many empty shelves you see.
oh,
Why?
I get it. I get it. I get it. I'm just using it as an example because I was on the phone with the local market going, hey, can I get some chicken wings? We got Super Bowl. I want chicken wings. Stuart, I haven't been able to get chicken wings in almost 2 months. I'm going to Costco and buying up all the Empire chicken they have every day at 4 different Costco's. So I have chicken for my market. David, this is basically no different than the former Soviet Union. The shelves are becoming bare, whether it's Philadelphia cream cheese, which, by the way, you still cannot get. But if you live in South Florida, I'll tell you my hack. I go to Bagel Cove and I buy it by the pound in
Hey,
these big
Stuart,
tubs. Yep.
Stuart, you guys have got it all wrong. All the Philadelphia cream cheeses in Canada. We buy them, no problem. Guys, look, the problem which I think that is angering a lot of people is that we know the numbers. We see it every day in the news. We hear about it all the time. We've seen pictures of empty shelves, and yet no one's doing anything. And with an election coming up, there's an election in the United States. The midterms are coming up. In Quebec, we have an election here in the fall. There are other elections happening other places. And what's the situation? We're going to be lied to again. Empty promises are going to be made, but the shelves are still empty. Inflation is still going up. There isn't a single, show me one government official who's come out with a policy to help alleviate inflation. They're talking about raising interest rates, which in itself has a positive, but also a serious negative. And that's their answer. It's not about helping you and me, folks. It's not about that. And the governments that we have on both sides of the border, the federal governments, just care about their ass and their politics and their votes, and not about you and not about me. The COVID policies, I'll give you an example. Justin Trudeau, while provinces and states are lifting sanctions, refuses to change his sanctions. He refuses.
David, but you want to know why these people want to stay in power and control? I'm
Yeah,
going to use an American counterpart. Let's look at the Nancy Pelosi that came to office 30 years ago with net worth being $3 million, today worth $250 million. Her and her party have refused to bring a vote to remove their exemption for insider trading, which is basically what you and I would be charged with.
listen, Stuart, it's a scary concept. Listen, power, like that kind of power brings about corruption and other, absolutely. But here's the thing. You think about it. You and I who vote, we're being heard. We need to send a message. And it's tired of, I can't wait till an election happens in November or here in October. We have to overwhelm the government. Like the convoy, while it has received fantastic press by Fox News, even the conservative government here in Quebec, in Canada, has said it's enough. Okay, it's gone beyond its original purpose. But what the convoy said at the beginning was, do something. Enough sitting on your assets and doing nothing. Because Justin Trudeau, by the way, during this whole thing, showed absolutely incompetent leadership, like disappearing, blaming others and expecting others to do his work. And now you see more protests because people are fed up with the leadership. And this is what I'm talking about. It's not about...
Let's go back a year ago. They're burning down courthouses, burning down police stations, right? Now, what's the distraction? Russia is more than likely going to swallow the Ukraine whole with their new oceanfront or
Well,
seafront.
but yeah, right. But no, but again, Joe neighbor doesn't really care
Nope.
because Ukraine is not Canada, it's not United States. Oh, we have the Olympics. We care about winning a gold or winning a silver or winning a bronze. But what we're not doing is realizing that this is just a distraction. That what Trudeau has done and what Biden has done was create distractions so that you and I don't focus on the real problems. Empty shelves, escalating inflation. I mean,
You know,
folks, if
it's
you don't have a
supply chain. It's
listen,
supply chain.
yeah, it's again deflect the reality because supply chain has everything to do with oil. All right. So right now, oil surpassing $90 a barrel means that you and I are going to pay way more at the tank every day. I'm just going to tell you that right now I am paying since like if I look since the bottom of where it was 2 years ago at the pandemic, I'm paying now 65% more for gas than I did when the pandemic started.
Yep.
65% more for a tank of gas. That multiplied by everything else we're impacted, transport, food, other costs.
But that goes to the inflation conversation that
Yes, but
people don't want to admit that again, I can afford to spend the extra $20, $30 for a tank of gas. But it's not about me or you, David, because let's be honest, we
yeah,
can afford this
but no, but
burden,
Stuart,
but
no,
the
but you know
regular
what?
person that goes to work every day.
But Stuart, you say that, but $20 more a week means you need to earn after tax $1,000 more dollars, and that's just to fill up the tank in your car, let alone everything else that you have to pay extra for. And that is what, like right now, people are spending. The average person is spending over $2,500 to $3,000 a year more than what they did last year. Which after tax, the average person is looking at it going, I need to get another job.
Where does someone that makes $25,000 a year can afford an extra $3,000 to inflation? They can't. Even with the whole wage increase has been eroded by inflation.
Well, Stuart, here's the other problem. If you're now a university student, you just graduated, if you're a US student, you got loans coming out of your ears. You're a disaster coming out of that. Then you want to go get a house. You can't afford anything. You are so in debt, you can't afford anything. And even in Canada, and I know young couples who are getting married who are looking for a home, can't afford it. And you know what? Yeah, I remember the days when I couldn't afford a home and I needed my parents to help me out and my in-laws to help me out to get my first home. But even today, if parents co-sign on mortgages and whatever, the payment for the mortgage is way beyond young people's means. And I want to thank the government for doing absolutely nothing. And raising interest rates means that mortgage costs are going to go up. Cost of business is going to go up. Everything's going to go up. The answer isn't increasing interest rates. The answer is better policies. I am sick and tired of, the media going out there and pointing the finger in the wrong direction. The media has told people, don't blame Biden and Trudeau, blame the convoy, blame Trump. Trump's been gone for over a year. Blame Trump, blame supply chain, blame China, blame...
But hang on a second, but just in the news, which is really funny is everyone forgot about the bleached drives of top secret documents being held on an outside server by the Clinton administration. I call it the Clinton administration. She was under the Obama administration.
Yeah.
But now they're like, oh, Trump had documents he wasn't supposed to have. He needs to go to jail. Like,
but Stuart, but people, because this is what I'm talking about. Deflect reality. Biden does it well. Kamala Harris does it well. Justin Trudeau and his party does it well. They are not, and the media is just the puppet and the voice box for these governments. And you know what, Stuart? The problem is we didn't solve the problem. I just hope people realize we need to do something rather than sit down and just be complacent. We really need to start yelling and screaming. And what the convoy taught us was that if you make the noise, then things have to change. Don't wait for an election. Folks, with that, Stuart, we reached our quarter hour. I think people want to go on their weekend. What do you think?
Happy Super Bowl. What is your team, David?
My son's team are the Bengals. He's loving it. He cannot wait for Cincinnati to hoist the Lombardi Trophy. But there are people out there who want LA. You know what? Whatever, folks. We're done. We're done for
Anything
another
but
week.
LA. We're done. We're done.
We're done for another week. We'll be back here again on Monday with our.
Hey, by the way, everyone, when you watch the game, how many people from California is going to be at that game not wearing a mask? Governor Newsom, I want you to pay attention.
Have a good weekend, everyone. Cheers.